What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wits End Podcast. I am your host, Devin Witt, alongside my co-host, Joe the Show.
That's me.
And man, you sent me some crazy articles that I thought I was an internet sleuth, and I stay up to date on the latest in terrorism. But apparently, I completely overlooked a very important fact. Which is, what do they call it? Pay to slay.
Yep.
And it's funny because whenever you asked me if I knew what that was, the first thing that came to my mind is like pay to win and like video games. And then of course.
Don't get me started on Call of Duty.
yeah, that patch, man.
Yeah. I might make a podcast episode just about that.
Yeah, oh, right. Exposing them.
Yeah.
But anywho, no, this is very serious. Like I was blown away by this concept of, hey, you're a terrorist or performing terrorist acts. Mm-hmm. You kill innocent people, and then we're going to pay you for it.
Yep.
And not just you, but like your family.
Yeah. And this is the people that, the reason I brought that up is, again, people can look this up. Pay to slay. Look it up. You don't even have to look at, it's not a hard search. You Google that. It's going to show you this ain't false information. This is known stuff. A lot of people that see, here's the problem with this. Again, last 20 episodes, it always comes up. This is crap the media don't tell you. And so you have these people picking sides when it comes to Palestine, and the stuff with Gaza, Israel, and these little certain people, the religious groups, whatever, they're picking sides, and they're making ignorant and bad decisions because you start looking at these things like, well, we shouldn't be involved in this. We should, and I'm not debating whether we should or shouldn't be involved. Right. That's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm saying is you're picking sides out of ignorance, and you're going to, die on this hill of like, okay, we're going to, defend one or the other. Well, these people are, Hamas. You call it what you want. They are international, I say pretty much internationally known and recognized as a terrorist group. And then so you take it further, and they have this, basically it's an insurance policy to a degree for family members. And I'm basically breaking this down dummy style for people is, okay, so this certain member goes out and straps a bomb to himself and kills a bunch of people. He died in the name of, the terrorist work. So they have funds that they will take care of his family and expense some, to some degree, for him dying for the cause.
And the crazy part is that it's a lot more than someone who's just trying to earn a fair wage in Gaza or Palestine. And, to kind of go back to what you were saying about Hamas being this well-known terrorist organization, the only hard part for me is I definitely agree that what they did on October 7th could be labeled a terrorist attack very easily. But there's a level of it, though, of, look, we're talking about two groups of people that have been fighting for, generations now, decades. Yeah. And as a result, if you just take a step back and you really look at it objectively, I don't think there's any way people can honestly say that what Israel's doing as far as bombing the crap out of innocent women and children and then just calling it, collateral for war damage, that's not right. And so I feel like there's a level of this Hamas piece that they are actually resistance forces to a regime that's trying to control them.
Well, and I don't know what the breakdown is, but I'm going to read this. Here's what there's stuff they can prove. The total payments from the pay for slay equaled $315 million in 2016, or 8% of the PA budget, with this $4.4 billion.
And then it increased.
This is it goes on and on. There's a bunch. It's a pretty lengthy article, and it's not just from one place. There's several things that write about this. So, bottom line, you could sit here and read you a bunch of quotes and statistics, and that's boring to the viewers. And I
want to read a quote from one of these alleged terrorists that have benefited from this fund. It's intense, but here we go. So let's see. Interrogation of Palestinian terrorists proves PA payments motivate terror. Here we go. So a Palestinian terrorist said, "I've accumulated large debts. If my son wants a shekel, I have nothing to give him. I decided to do something serious, such as committing murder, something in which I will both kill and die, and then my family will get money, i.e. from the PA, and will live comfortably. If I'm not able to kill soldiers, I'll try settlers, guards. In other words, any Israeli target. The important thing is that I will die and they will kill me so that my children will receive a PA allowance and live happily.
Yeah, leave that on there for a minute so people can, if you didn't catch all that, they can, you're not going to be able to read it on your screen and get that. You can probably zoom in, you can catch enough of it, and they can see the website, whatever on there. So, the thing of it is, that's what this comes down to. And so I hope that some of y'all realize you're picking the wrong side here. Now, I'm not advocating that we should be involved and we should be picking side of Israel. I have my opinions both ways on this.
Stay out of it.
Well, not on both ways. I have an opinion one way because I don't believe we should be dealing with Hamas at all, other than, eradicating them.
Or getting them to negotiate a ceasefire.
Well, to me, it's not a negotiation. Well, I guess if President Obama was, because President Obama will negotiate with terrorists. He's done that in his reign as presidency. Yep. And I use that word correctly, reign, I'm more of a dictatorship than it is a presidency. But we, for the first time, you negotiated with terrorists. No, we don't negotiate with terrorists. We never should have set that precedence of doing it anyway. You kill them. I know people won't like my speech, probably get, strike against me on that. But that's what... That's what you got to do. You can't, we should sit here and say, okay, we'll just try to work this out. Well, one, it's not our business to work out. And that's something, if Israel decides that they want to cower down to that and do that, I guess so be it. But it's not in our place to do that. So, we need to stay the heck out if they're going to be involved. Here I am going to start trying to say I'm picking sides. We just need to quit supporting, one, to a degree, a level of this to begin with, but definitely quit supporting the the wrong side of this.
I mean, how many times in the last several years has America intervened on behalf of maybe not the greatest side in a war or some type of civil unrest in these other countries? It's kind of scary, but the thing that really drives me up the wall the most is, and I know we've said it several times, but how in the world do we just come up with not just $1 billion or $2 billion, over $75 billion, and we're just throwing it at some little European country that isn't legitimate? I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of Ukrainian flag supporters out there.
I don't care. We shouldn't be involved in that crap. I've said this again. I know, what we're doing is we're using our money to support Ukraine. What the government is doing is we're saying we're not going to send troops per se. We're going to give you money. We're going to fight. We're going to fight this. And let me summarize. We'll let you do our dirty work. Yeah. Because we don't want to engage. I don't say they don't have a reason to or want to engage, but we're going to fight this from this aspect and fund you and let you do our dirty work for us.
It's the ultimate proxy.
Well, here it is. You call it what you want, but it's no different what we just talked about, the pay to slay. You're paying these people to commit acts of suicide or terrorism and do your dirty work. It's the same crap the United States is doing right now in Ukraine. We're giving them money to do our dirty work. Did I just compare the United States to a terrorist group? I sure did. Because some of the crap we're doing, we don't call it terrorist group, but it's freaking shady.
Well, the fact that you're funding a terrorist group, you go back and look at ISIS. We were funding those guys to go against Al-Qaeda. And then, whoa, look at that. ISIS takes over, and now they're just as bad, if not worse. And, I really like this slide because it blew me away. So here we go, guys. I don't know about you, but if you really look at Ukraine at all, you'll start to see there's been a lot of corruption for several years. So what makes America so great? The fact that we will give more money to the most corrupt country on this list, and no one's going to do anything about it. No one's saying...
Pakistan's pretty screwed up.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. But am I going to say it's worse than Ukraine? I don't know.
Latin America in 1964. These are old. I mean, those numbers are old. Now we're looking at Ukraine in 2022.
But the point of it is it's the percentages. Now money changes, inflation, etc. But that percentage, that's the real number that you need to be looking at. And it's scary because it's what. We can go back to Israel and say, hey, we've had this long-standing relationship with them. It kind of makes sense why we're giving them money. Same thing with Latin America. I mean, come on, it's right there. Yeah. But you start talking about Ukraine, and it's what is this obsession other than money laundering and this weird connection between the Biden family and Ukraine? Now, why do we bring this up? We're under attack. I don't know if Americans are aware right now how many illegals are entering this country, military-age fighting males. Yeah. They're setting us up. And the fact that people don't understand that whenever you're giving $75 billion. Just imagine.
This is, and you people got to keep in mind, these are numbers from 22 to I think 23. I think
October of 23
breaks that. So I mean, that number is higher.
Look at that. Look at that, guys.
Yeah.
75 billion, and I'm pretty sure it's more than that because that's 2022. I know we've sent some more.
Yeah,
since then.
yeah. I think somewhere it's over 100. It's over 100, and I think it's 120 was the actual number on that. I think.
And it's just like, please, someone make it make sense how we can throw $120 billion at a foreign country that is light years away from us to fight in a war that we have truly no idea about. Like, tell me 5 Americans that wear the Ukraine flag that can actually tell me why Russia and Ukraine are fighting. Most of them can't.
Yeah, and see, the people in America, here's where you start thinking, if you think back a little bit, your age, you're younger, you may not remember, but if you look at that list, and there's a couple of things I pointed out, and do your research on this people, that very bottom one, Yemen. We've had some problems over there, and yet we're giving them money.
Well, I mean,
Afghanistan, I kind of understand to some level, depending on the break. But Yemen, should have never been there.
We did blow them up.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were some problems there. I mean, people. I'm not trying to get into this history lesson for everybody. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up if you care to. But yeah, we should have never sent money to them. Egypt, debatable. Ethiopia, I ain't got a damn clue why.
Here's what's funny about Ethiopia. Because I mean, what? Like, wasn't there an old saying, something like "I'm hungry as an Ethiopian," something like that. Anyhow, the point of it is, you got starving kids in Ethiopia 24/7.
We got it in the United States in our listing on there.
And just look at the difference between aid, $74 billion. You could fix so much in the world.
Yeah, well, I've said that before with all the stuff and I've said this, and I will say it again because I'm kind of still die on this hill. Essentially, is we've got $75 billion going to these countries, and we've got a mental health crisis in the United States that's been basically untouched. You still got to pay for, if you need help. So there's things we could be doing. Kids shooting up schools and all that crap. We could be using this money to help the United States versus fight somebody else's war.
Now, to me, I really wanted to show this slide because one of my key takeaways, because this is, again, something else that doesn't get talked about too much. Whenever they're talking about this financial portion, the 35%, that's us funding their government and their teachers and politicians and everyone else. We're keeping Ukraine open right now. Why? Why? Are we really trying to say that if we save Ukraine, democracy is never going to be under attack again? Especially here in America, as millions of illegal immigrants flood our country, ready to fight.
Yeah, we're going to have to find a way to fund ourselves because it's coming.
This year.
Yeah. I've had people ask me, do you think we're, here recently, within the last week actually, a couple people, do you think we're, because they value some of my military knowledge, and they've asked, basically from your military standpoint, do you think we're on, the brink of a civil war? Yes.
It's not civil war. I think we're going to be attacked from the outside.
I don't see it quite that way. I think it's well, not to get into that because it's not what we're necessarily here to talk about today. I think it'll turn out internal. And then because what I think will happen is the government's going to hit a crap ton of resistance. And then as a byproduct of that, they're going to have to bring in outside to deal with that. The reason I say that, the precedence is already in Texas right now that's being established. Yep. People don't look at it that way, but you look at what's going on. The state, and I'm summarizing, there's a very lengthy story there on the border, but not basically what had happened is Texas says, you all suck. I don't like what you're doing. The federal government, you can't control this, so we're going to do it. Well, Texas steps in, starts doing this crap, and actually producing results.
Yeah.
And then now what comes in is the president comes in and the you can't do that. You can't do this. And so they go in and take all this wire down, concertina razor wire, and they're like, yeah, well, screw you. We're going to anyway. So they put it back up. And so now they're in this feud of what the federal government can and can't do in these situations. And it's kind of right now, basically, it's again, I'm summarizing. There's a lot going on, but it's a standoff.
I don't know.
And you wait, what's going to happen? Because what's going to happen that's going to make this a international or a world thing?
Deal.
Somebody's going to pull a trigger on each other eventually.
Like between federal and state.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you got these state officials out there, the National Guard, and then you say the Border Patrol comes in and said, no, we're taking it down. How do you stop it? And if they don't stop, what do you do if they take it that far? If they're going to stand their ground, somebody's going to get shot over this. Yep. When that trigger's pulled, that's when this is going to kick off. And the thing of it is that you look at the state, I don't think the people in Texas has a lot to deal with it. Now, here's the other thing, and why this is a big issue and why I say it happens in the United States first, because people, if you look into this crap, everybody's, well, Texas... No, Texas ain't the only one involved with this. There is other states that have activated their National Guard and sent manpower to Texas to support them. Multiple states, Oklahoma being one of them. A lot of people don't know that because that's why you don't freaking look at the stuff. You start blabbering how this is all freaking messed up and all this other crap. Get your facts straight. There's other states, several states that is involved in what Texas is doing right now. It's not just Texas. And it's because people has had enough of the federal government screwing stuff up. We said we're taking over. Now, you take that further. Here's where it becomes down, and here's where you got to be very careful getting censored on here, is because what that comes down to is your Second Amendment rights. Is they start infringing, and I'm not talking about Second Amendment rights, is the states, I want you to put this in proper context. There's other states helping out Texas. We're saying, the government, you screw this up, we're going to help them because they're doing it right. The government comes in now and tries to implement laws on certain states. The states are standing up and saying, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't enforcing that law. Get out of here. See, now it's you'll have an internal war.
Yeah,
and you've already got states saying, "Hey, we're going to help you."
And then you look at predictive programming, and wouldn't you know it, there's a movie called Civil War coming out this year. See, in my opinion, I agree with you. Definitely, internal conflict within America is going to boil over into some type of a national crisis. But on the other hand, if I'm deep state and I'm trying to destroy America from within. Number one, I would do what I'm doing, as in sending all the money outside of the U.S. Let's plunder America. Because, by the way, we don't get any of that money back. There is no repayment agreement that these people are signing. So now we're bankrupt. We've given away all of our military weapons to other countries to fight wars with Russia. We're defenseless. And guess what? If I'm a deep state politician, I would make it look like it's right versus left, north versus south. But in reality, I'm just using all those illegals that I brought in to actually fight. Because those I hate to say it, 95% of Democrat voters can't fight. Yeah. And they are incapable of defending themselves.
And you brought a valid point in. We sent 70-some to $100-some billion over to a foreign country to beef up their military and stuff like that. Now, see, here's the problem. I talked about this last week. There's a national report out. Anybody can look at this again. And it has shown that our military in the United States on several things is weak. Noted in this report that it is weak. And see, here's the other thing. So you got this budget of $70-some million going in, which you just pulled it up. In here, so the Marine Corps, and here's the thing. People can understand. Let me back this up. So I just said this. There is a report that came out by the military, and, I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but either way, it's this report, and it shows the weakness, strong links, whatever. Okay, so out of all the branches of service, and including nuclear capabilities and all this other stuff, the Marine Corps was the strongest out of them all. This is not something, okay, you're a Marine, you're just saying that crap. No, this stuff is out there. Now, I'm only bringing that point up. It's not about one's better than the other. I think all the branches are great. They have a place. Sometimes, they're different capabilities. But either way, so if the Marine Corps is the strongest one, their annual budget is $53.2 billion. To explain to me why the strongest, it has a smaller budget than the crap we're sending to a foreign country. That's an issue. Now, overall, our military is noted as weak. The overall report said our military overall is weak. And it would be very hard for us to fight a two-front war, if not a three-front war, which is a very strong possibility right now with the climate of everything going on. We could be in internal war, Russia, Ukraine,
China.
China. And, Texas, it's obviously internal. But you see, you've got all these things sparking up, Israel.
The cartels.
And so we can't even fight that two-front war, three-front war, if they've already admitted that. But see, here's the thing. We're sending all this money over here. We're not taking care of our own. Why are we not beefing up our own military? The writing's on the wall that it's about to hit the fan. Why are we not taking care of our own first?
The scariest part is if, say, I'm a military general or whatever, and I'm doing these operations, we're bombing Yemen, we're bombing Afghanistan, we're sending guns to Ukraine, at a certain point you have to take a step back and think hey, we're probably pissing a lot of people off and making people hate us. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to open up our borders and allow anyone through, including the same people that we just got done bombing in some of these third world countries. Yeah. That they're now at our door. And guess what people want whenever you kill their family members? Revenge. Yeah. So tell me, America, do Do you? Yeah, that's true too. Do you really want that kind of smoke with the rest of the world whenever our military is as weak as what it is right now?
Yeah.
This isn't the 1940s anymore. We're no longer the #1 global superpower by far. Now there is a serious competition going on between us, Russia, and China, in my opinion. Now, the hard part here is, how do we come back? How, like, whenever all the politicians are just towing the party line, they're regurgitating the same talking points over and over again. How do we get out of this?
We don't.
Yeah,
We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to. It's never designed that way. Ukraine has went on what people were shocked that they could take on Russia. So Russia's not as superpower as what people thought they were. However, they do have nuclear capabilities that Ukraine don't. But here's where I'm going. Here's why you don't go back on this. We got Israel involved, Ukraine. Then we got some partial ties in the Middle East with that. They're kind of indebted a little bit and all this other stuff. To me, it's a perfect lining for a world order.
Right,
you get
across
enough
the
people.
spectrum.
Exactly. You get people. You're buying them in. Hey, we're helping you, and then somewhere these favors are going to come in. It's a superpower, and that's what I think they're doing.
So, okay.
You can call it what you want. I know that's kind of a stretch, and it's a government conspiracy thing. But, hey, the thing of it is, again, the writing's been on the wall for one world order for a long time.
They've been saying
there's just stars that's starting to align up. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but I'm saying this could be used to their advantage if that's what they're trying to do.
One of the other things that come to my mind, because you talked about New World Order, so how does that work? Well, hey, we're under attack, guys. There's a civil war going on, or the illegals are now doing terrorist attacks. Guess what? Martial law. Can't have an election now because we're under attack.
Well, see, and that's what people in America need to understand. They say, oh, well, they can't. No, they can, because, see, you get Ukraine on their side. We're fighting them, and they're pretty much, say they got everything wrapped up with Russia. They come to some agreement, blah, blah, whatever, and something breaks out in America. Now they can bring Ukraine into America to fight against us and use them. The federal government can do that. And people will say it's far-fetched, but no, because they're indebted to us.
Yep. Well, and also vice versa, though. We're indebted to a lot of people. I mean, when you have over, like, a couple trillion, well, I think it's in, like, the 50 trillion, something. It's insane. It's stupid. And all they're doing is just continuing to run up the check. Now, what is that going to do? Eventually, it's going to burst. The dollar's going to be meaningless. And then that's whenever you insert central digital banking currency, one world. Hey, we all use one currency now.
Well, you look at it even right now, people think that's never happened. Never. Man, I'm telling you, cash is getting, it's not astronomically hard.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. If you try to go to your bank and you deposit something, they want to know. They want to know every move. Now, I understand because a bunch of reasons. I understand a bunch of reasons. But if you go down to your bank and ask for a withdrawal, I'm going to tell you, because somebody can get on there in banking and tell me different. But you go down there to the bank and get $1 million. Say, I want $1 million cash. You go get that money. It's going to take some time.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you go back in, say you don't do anything with it. You just like, oh, that business deal didn't work out, whatever. And you go back into that bank and try to say, I want to deposit this $1 million back in. No. It's not like, okay, yes, sir, we're going to take that. And I'm telling you, it will screw things up. If not, I bet that bank would have to shut down for the day just to deal with that. If you force it, I bet they would have to shut down, because they can't. It's not that they can't handle the money. There's a lot of internal things going on. But when you start dealing with cash, it's not like it used to be. They're forcing this stuff down everybody. So that's why everything, even food stamps, to just, everything. That's why the credit cards, digital this, digital that. That's why.
Yep.
They're trying to go through that. The problem, there's convenience, and that's what they want you to believe. That's what they brainwash. It's convenience. You can use your credit card. You swipe your debit card. Yeah, but what happens whenever there's a freaking EMP?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your credit card don't work, and you're stuck without money. Cash is still valid in those crap situations. I've seen that whenever in other countries. Whenever currency was just crap, American dollar was still good. It held value. But here's the thing: you over there in a freaking third world country, and everything goes to hell. You can't just walk into a freaking. You can't just swipe your card.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
and people don't understand that. But anyway, so you get into this stuff, and that's just one like an EMP. Yeah. I mean, that may not happen. First, it doesn't do it to us.
And why do they not like cash?
Well, it's because the thing of it is when you have cash, there's a couple of things. One, if you're just getting paid straight cash, the government can control that, and they can't get they don't like that because they don't have control. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, there's taxes, but like
I can't
we'll
track
say
it.
we'll say all these people are making $30,000 a year under the table. You know, that's great. I understand they're evading their taxes and blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, I get that. But like, go after the billionaires that's freaking doing this crap, and they're playing the game. They're playing it right. They're playing the game. You know, Trump said this stuff too. Trump's come out and said, yeah, I do that. I write that off, and yeah, it's basically, but I'm just playing the game that you all do, and
what you do.
What he turned around further and said was, every one of you does it too. That's why these tax laws never change, because they're not he's not the only one taking advantage of it. He was the only one that had enough balls to say, yeah, I do it. You know, and if I ever got to that position, I'm going to take advantage of every, the tax codes that's there.
That you're giving me.
Like, you're stupid if you're not. You're like, well, I'm just playing it honest. Honest is doing it the way that the law is.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. It's in the law.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're not doing anything crooked or illegal. Conscious sake, it's kind of shady because you can look at it. But I mean, like,
well, number one, what I would say is in today's world, especially in America 2024, if I had the option to not give a single dime of my taxes to the federal government, I wouldn't do it, because I know they're not spending it right. They're not focusing on us. Like, I don't give you money so you can fund another war. I don't. I want health care. I want my kids to be healthy. I want the grocery stores to be stocked. And I want people to make a good living.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Buy more cows so you can create more milk, then it ain't freaking $10 a gallon. It's not $10 a gallon, but you know what I'm saying.
The point of it is ultimately, guys, it's like, wake up. These people don't care about you. They would rather make it to the New World Order and you'll get their ticket punched and watch you die.
Yeah.
Than,
people
than
don't
actually
understand. I mean, the simplicity of things,
up.
the things we enjoy. Here's this in thought, and here's one, because I'll probably get an email on this one too, and that's fine. I'm not trying to talk trash. We look at PETA. So their objective is we believe everybody should be vegan. Well, I believe I should be able to eat a chicken egg if I want to. I believe I should be able to eat a steak. Well, they don't believe, but see, that's the thing. And that's fine if they believe that stuff, but see, you start imposing that stuff
on others,
and they start getting traction. So basically what I'm saying, what do you advocate? We should just no longer have chickens. We should no longer have beef line. No, they're going to, well, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying you shouldn't kill them. You shouldn't eat them. Well, what if I disagree and think that I should protect lettuce?
Right. But you're killing innocent lettuce.
But do you see my point?
Yeah.
Like, I should be able to eat a beef. If you want to eat a horse, I don't care what, whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm not frowning on you because you want to eat carrots and broccoli all day or whatever, vegans eat, I don't care. But like, how come it's one-sided? We see this in the BLM, we see this in LGBTQ stuff. And it's the same. I don't care. Yeah, I'm comparing you to a bunch of vegetables, I guess, because that's what somebody out there on the internet's going to derive from this. So I'll just claim it what it is. Here's how ignorant that is you want us to comply to these things, but yet I don't want you to eat that. So no, you can't, because it offends me. Come on.
All right. Now, in defense, I will say there are some things you're just not allowed to eat. There's like two animals, human beings, and dogs.
Not an animal.
Humans are animals. So
let me tell you
go
something.
Outside and look at how crazy people are. And
let me tell you something. There's foreign countries that eat friggin' dogs, and I've been to those foreign countries. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say I've ate a cat or a dog, but here's what I'm going to say. I went to these foreign countries, and that was part of it for me. I wanted to experience, I wanted to try the food
delicacy.
they have. I can't say definitively I ate a cat or a dog, but I can say this. I've been to those foreign countries, and if they served me a cat or a dog, I'd probably eat it again because the stuff was good. I didn't find much stuff. I didn't get like this from not eating. I like their food, And here's the other thing. People, I won't eat a horse. Yeah, you know why you won't eat a horse? Because you consider it a pet.
Yep.
A dog, same thing. Now, again, I ain't eating a horse. I ain't eating a dog. But I'm going to tell you this. If I'm out there starving, your little puppy is going to be dinner.
Yeah, sorry, Scout.
I don't care. People are like, that's disgusting. I don't care. But let me tell you something. Here's how screwed up people are. And you won't eat a cat. But yet, there's people in the United States that will go out mountain lion hunting and eat that thing. What the hell do you think that is? It's a cat.
It's the same thing.
It's a big cat.
Yeah.
It's a big kitty cat. But it's the same thing. And I'm not saying that most people do, but there's some that do, and it's okay. No, it's not. You're eating little Fluffy. Call it what you want. So, but in those situations, if it came down, I'll eat your dog. I don't care.
So
I'm not starving to death.
To kind of come back to what you were saying about this forced compliance, the craziest part to me is just let's go back and reflect a little bit, just about Christianity in America. They banned reading the Bible in the classroom. They banned having the 10 Commandments outside of state and legislative buildings, whatever. All because it upsets other religions. But now we fast forward a couple years, and guess what they have outside of, I believe it's Iowa University? A statue of Baal. And you know why they allowed them to put up this statue for the Church of Satan? Because it's unfair for them not to have that. So it's like you can ban the Bible because it upsets other religions, but then you can allow another religion to erect a statue on a college campus, and that's equal playing fields. So the point of it is like what we're seeing is state-sanctioned religion right now. Right now it's the LGBT, the climate change, blah, blah. They're creating a religion out of this. Why is it that I can't fly the Christian flag at the state office building, but they can hang the LGBTQ flag? Make that make sense.
Prettier.
No, it's called propaganda and indoctrination.
I know. I get it 100%. We see that all the time. Kids do that. Think there's ways you can get this stuff in schools. I proposed that there. It's been a couple of years ago. They tried that nonsense up here. There was a long story, but they were trying to have this Muslim rights. All this, educate them on Muslims and all that stuff. Okay, that's fine. But are you going to let me or another pastor come in here and preach the gospel behind it?
Probably
not. We need educated on Christianity too.
Yep. And now more than ever.
It never happened. But see, that's the resistance that people need to put up. It's like, hey, I'm not hating the Muslims. That's what you believe. I don't personally agree with it, but obviously they wouldn't believe with Christianity. That's fine.
Yeah. Yep. You can coexist.
But if you're going to sit here and force it down one side, like I turn the table just like you said, LGBTQ, you come in and preach your or teach your LGBTQ stuff. That's fine. Let me follow it by teaching my
Christian values.
Christian values.
Yeah.
Or if you don't like the Christian value side, because then you get into religion, so you got to kind of separate that. But if you can come in and teach people how to be, that being gay is fine and everything else, well, why can't you let the straight people come in and say, hey, this is what we believe, and you can have a straight lifestyle with just as many, I can't say many benefits because they get more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They get all the love.
And teach that lifestyle instead. And there's still places that do, but you see, that's where it's not, and here's why. And it's not because the school board necessarily, or the schools or the government has a problem with it. Where the issue lies is they don't have the balls to say, yeah, sure, that makes sense, because they have to offend the LGBTQ.
Because they're doing mental gymnastics to stay with the mind.
They're afraid
virus.
to say something. They have scared America. See, everybody's like, "Oh, we need equal rights." You don't have freaking equal rights, and you never will. Yeah. People, you need to freaking understand this from the LGBTQXYZ community. I'm telling you, you're never going to have equal rights because you did not earn them. And let me explain that. So you haters out there, you are doing this and making people comply out of fear. That's why you'll never have those rights. If you do get them, so be it. They're based out of fear. You're never going to be created equal. You will never be treated as equal because you're doing it and you're making people make decisions because you think you have to be called a certain pronoun. You have to be treated. You're doing it out of fear. So, it's not out of actually like, hey, here's what I believe. Let me finish. And doing it, and I'm not saying people do it out of hatred and love. It's if you make somebody do something out of fear, you're building resentment and hatred towards you. That's why they're hitting brick walls with this stuff.
The hard part, especially whenever you talk about equality, number one, in my opinion, what they're doing here is they're trying to create equality of outcome, not equal opportunities. Like we all have the same playing field. Like basically, if I'm an interviewer, I close my eyes and I just listen to what you have to say. I'm not looking at your skin color. I'm not looking at your ethnicity or whatever. It's just, what did you just say to me? Does that match the job description and the qualifications needed? So that's equal opportunities. But the equality of outcome side is a completely different thing, because now you're rigging the game. You're saying that, because you came from a affluent family and this guy grew up in the hood, we're going to give you both the same job, the same wages, make you go to the same school, etc. And what does that do? It stifles growth. Like you want to talk about how people innovate and come up with new ideas. It's not whenever you're told this is as far as you can go.
Yeah.
Because Johnny isn't as smart as you and can't keep up. So we got to make Johnny feel good here. Now, to take it a step further, they talk about equality. Women, hear me well. You don't want equality, and you have unfair advantages against men. Tell me one man that's went into a courtroom and had the upper hand over a woman in a divorce or in a domestic violence situation. How many men get believed over women in a courtroom?
In a perfect situation, I want to, so people understand what you're saying. Now, there's cases where a woman or the guy, for that matter, is just a piece of crap. Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. We're talking like normal husband, wife, go in there. Women, divorced, hands down, in this society get it. And I agree. Women do not want equality. And I can tell you right now that most women in the United States don't want it. They cower, and I'll tell you how. It's men's fault too, because you're letting these people get away with it.
Yep. Yeah. Every time.
You know. And here's my thing, and I'll say this stuff from a platform. I'll say it to your face. I don't care. You have a vagina. You ain't the same as me.
We're not the same.
And people say, well, you're just talking trash. You're sexist shit. No, I'm telling you right now that there is things, and I will stand by this, there is things that you cannot do as a woman, period.
The same thing, vice versa.
Exactly. That's the thing that most men, you know, they'll make that statement, just leave it there. There is things that women can do better than men, and things that women are designed to that men can. You know, obviously, everybody, exactly. That's what most people's default is. No, women are more patient. As a general rule of thumb, they are more patient. They are more understanding. Yeah. They are more loving. Well, you can go get your dick cut off, but it still don't change who you are. It still don't make you, you might talk a little funny, but it doesn't make you have those traits that most women have.
Innate traits, yeah.
You can't change that. That's DNA. Yeah. You can't change your freaking DNA. You can go freaking get boobs, you can cut them off. You can get a penis or cut it, you can do whatever. It doesn't change that. Women were designed that way. Obviously, I preach from, or go from a, preach, I guess, from a biblical side, yes. But there's still, there's a reason why I believe God created people that way. And if you don't believe in God, you can't deny what I've just said. And so it doesn't change anything. But I've said this thing in other podcasts too, is women are sitting by the sidelines and letting, they're drag queens, let them do their thing. They're taking away your vote. They're taking your power away as a woman. What it was to be a woman, now you're letting a guy fill that role. And the thing of it is, that guy that is doing that, people don't like what I got to say here. This is where you're going to get feedback. You're less of a man by that definition of a man.
Yeah. When you let your woman run things,
and people, well, you can't say. Why does it matter? You don't want to be a man anyway.
Yeah. Clearly,
so
by your actions.
Go screw yourself.
Yeah,
that's bad in the context of what we're saying, but either way,
it probably would.
It's like, why does it matter what you got to say? You're not trying to be a man anyway. So, well, you just called me less of a man, and people will argue that you can call me less of a. You're not trying to be a dude anyway. So what does it matter? What does it matter?
Yeah,
but that's the argument, because they want the cake and eat it too. As the old saying goes, it's stupid the way this stuff works out.
Look, man, at the end of the day, women actually want to be inferior to men. It's super controversial to say that, because you've got so many feminists out there who's like, go queen. But the reality of it is, you go anywhere in America, 90% of women want their man to take care of them, want the man to provide for them and protect them. So it's like this weird illusion that they're trying to paint that like women are somehow equal to men. It's not true. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that women aren't extremely gifted and talented and don't have so many ways that they can benefit the earth. But at the end of the day, there is a hierarchy here. Men over women.
But it was always that way, like...
Go to the wild.
And if you look at
female predators aren't protecting the males.
Yeah, you look at this from a biblical perspective, and you can take part of this out. There's God, men, women, kids.
Children.
And here's the thing. Your kids come and disrespect you, there's hell to pay. You're going to discipline. You're going to say something. Well, see, there is a you want to call hierarchy, because there's an order.
Yeah. And
those kids answer to the mother. Mother answers to the husband. Yeah, I know they're going to say, because there's a proper context of which I'm talking. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain it. If you just want to fight, you're going to say something on here and comment on it anyway. So go kick rocks. I don't care. But there's a proper way. It's like, the man's in charge. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But does that mean he's like, you do what I say, woman, you do it? Yeah. No, that's not what I'm saying. Just like the man, if you biblical people, for all you Christians that say you're Christians, the man is the one that answers to God for his family, and not the other way around.
Yep.
So no, there's established there for a reason.
For a
and
reason.
is a man's responsibility. But see, we go back into LGBTQ, the fight we're talking about. We go back into the husband and wife thing. We go back into the kids. See, I don't believe women are to blame. I think it's the men's fault.
It is.
And women are having to take men's roles because the men in today's society, I'm not talking about Gen X, just Gen Y or whatever the heck this new generation's called. It's not because they just a bunch of pussies. No, because y'all created those pussies. That's the thing. Call it what you want.
Mentally
it's a generational thing. You see these stupid things that are quitting smoking stops with me. Well, that's what I'm saying here. You want this crap to stop. It stops with you. And teach your kids how to be a good man, how to be a good woman, and treat each other, the man, the woman, whatever sex your child is, you teach this stuff at home. You teach them how to be a good man, a good woman. You don't need to teach you how to be a kid. I need to teach you how to be successful is one thing, but teach you how to treat the opposite sex and treat them with respect. And see, men don't do that. They've pawned it off on the woman. And you talked about a minute ago, so maybe people can grasp what I'm saying about women in the workplace. Women should be at home taking care of you. I'm sorry.
It should be that way.
That should be that way. But in people, well, that's sexist. Here you're going to get pissed off what I'm saying. But listen to me in context of what I'm saying. Men created it because you're freaking lazy. You don't go out and you're not making enough support to your family. Don't give me this crap. It's like, well, there's a job. Go. I don't care. Work too.
Yep.
Then there's a balance where you need to be there as a dad. Like, I get that. But you should be able to provide. But see, here you go. Now we go back into what we were talking about earlier. It's the government. We have created, by the vote of the people, we have created an environment in which we live in where both people basically have to work to support a family. Yeah. And I'm not talking living some extravagant life. I'm talking just middle-class people trying to make it meet. You have to have people. That's like the government. They like that because now it caused disruption in the family. It caused disruption in life. They hold the cards because you don't make enough freaking money. So they can withhold your food stamps. They can withhold your Social Security check. They can withhold all your little benefits, and they hold it over like a little freaking piece of candy saying, you don't do what I say, you ain't getting it.
Well, and now, to take it a step further, now they have your kids. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? You're both at home, or you're both at work. Yeah, working 8 to 10 hours a day.
They got them 8 to 10 hours a day and brainwash them with whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's whenever things like the whole LGBTQ and the classroom things comes into effect. Because it's like, hold on, I grew up in a Christian conservative home, and we do not want our children being taught that in public school. And now all of a sudden the government can override you as a parent and say, actually, no, we need that. Yeah, we need kids to be exposed to sexuality at an early age.
There's things that even the schools, small town we live in, they're teaching this stuff, sexual violence, so, you shouldn't touch a person here. This is my private part. And those are great things to teach kids. But see, the thing of it is, it ain't the school's responsibility. I mean, the school has to now do these things. But like, I'm dumbfounded that even people like that is like, you don't teach your kids like, hey, this is your butt. This is your penis. This is your blah, blah, whatever, your breasts. Yeah. And you don't teach your kids like, hey, that's sacred. Like that's the no-no. Yeah. That's my no-no square. That's the old saying. But like, you don't teach your kids like, hey, if this happens or like I'm a decent dad. I hope so. Depending by whose definition you're looking at. But like, I teach my kids, hey, if some dude picks you or a girl picks you up and you don't know them, you kick, scream, claw, yell, bite, whatever you got to do. Kick them. Tell them where to hit them. You fight because that person's trying to do you harm. Yep. And, and as a kid, well, what if you let dad deal with the consequences?
Right. Yeah.
I'll come into the place, and deal with the repercussions, but they're not going to be wrong. But like parents, you don't teach your kids that. It's like your kids walk out on the road. You're like, well, I hope little Johnny figures out to look both ways. Right. He's going to get hit by a damn truck. Yeah. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. Well, it's really the same concept here. You don't teach your kids like, hey, there is sickos out here in the world. There's pedophiles. There's people that would just kidnap you and take advantage of you and sell you to people. You do what you can to prevent that, and you teach your kids. Yeah, does that little 8 or 9-year-old have an advantage over a grown man? No. But if they're at school and they start yelling, kicking, screaming, there's going to get enough attention. Somebody's going to be like, this ain't right.
Yeah, in a public place. Now, the hard part really is it goes back into, unfortunately, parents nowadays are just as addicted to their cell phones. They're just as addicted to drugs and alcohol. They're so overwhelmed with politics and job performance and blah, blah, blah. They gave up on parenting. They said, you know what? Let's let YouTube do it. Mm-hmm. Let's let those public teachers give it a crack. Yeah. And as a result, you're seeing the mental health crisis just go through the roof. And it's because there is no foundation. You know, the moment you break up the nuclear family, and I'm not saying that you can't have gay people out in the world, but as a majority, there needs to be families. And there's just not that many gay families that work out.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at the statistics. There's something there, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying correlation is causation, but, you know, be critical thinking.
Yeah.
So
well, they reverse. It's reverse psychology is what they put on. The gay people have a more suicide rate, you know, other stuff. And I tend
wonder
to agree
why.
you're right. But see what those statistics, well, the statistics are there. But what the LGBTQ, here's what they're going to tell you. For instance, we have a higher suicide rate because we're gay and whatever. No, there's some truth to that. But here's the reason why there's a high suicide rate. Number one is these people go into these things and they're so deep involved in it, and they're like, oh, crap, I made a mistake.
Yeah, I just chopped off my penis.
And now they're ruined for the rest of their life.
Or how about this?
And
maybe because you're
so,
telling them that you're
Yeah.
going to commit suicide if you don't get this medication.
Exactly.
If you aren't accepted into this cult.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, and people do that. There is people, we know that with the mental health issues in America. People will threaten, if not commit suicide, to leverage certain situations.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to break up with me? I'm going to go
Yeah.
kill myself.
Yeah.
How many times now, and to take it
And I'd been like, here, go ahead, because I don't want to
Yeah.
be with you. You're crazy.
Right. That is wild, man.
It is. I'll challenge them. Go ahead, do it.
You know, the real issue, though, becomes is, are these your thoughts? You know, we had a really good sermon this morning about influence. Who's influencing you? Who are you idolizing? And the problem of it is that a lot of these young kids are idolizing blue-haired freaks that are mentally disabled. I'm sorry, but if you identify, you have boobs, you have a vagina, you were born a female, and you think you're a male, that is not normal. Nope. You are mentally disabled. You have a problem. And the thing of it is, 10 years ago, we acknowledged it. But now it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because it's not supposed to.
Well,
you're just supposed to conform and,
I agree.
okay.
Yeah, you see this person, they look like Harley off Batman. You got, what color hair do you got today? You can't, and this is simplicity, and this is not just LGBTQ. So you've got this person, they come to school with black hair one day, next week it's blue, the other week it's pink, and then they wear goth, then they wear like,
yeah.
Now
Maybe,
there's people that just like, hey, I'm going through this rebellion stage. I know there's some thing, teenagers. I could go on and on, but like that should be a telltale sign. Like, you've got an identity crisis. I don't care what you say. There's an issue there.
Yeah, you don't know
how
who you
deep
are.
it goes. Who knows? And stuff like that. So like there's some signs. But you're right. You're idolizing. Obviously social media. We're getting on bandwagons that you're just like, oh, I'm gay. Why? Well, because everybody is on social media, so I am now too.
Yep.
But
people
but
get
you're right.
dogged
You're
if they
getting
don't.
you're the people that's influencing your kids have already got mental issues. Now I'm not sitting there advocating that because you're gay you have a mental issue.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm necessarily
I would say
saying.
if you're trans, you
But-
do have a mental issue.
But whenever you're going in there and you're pushing stuff down our throats, people, I'm telling you, people don't, and I'll even LGBTQ, straight people, this goes, I'm telling you, it will never have equality. You can't have equality. It's never going to happen. I don't care if you're straight or if you're gay. And I'm going to shoot this down right here, right now, and squash this argument for everybody in the United States. Okay, for all you people that's confused and you want to identify as an animal, okay? I can take an animal to the vet right now and have it euthanized. But you identify as a damn cat, if I have you euthanized, I will go to prison.
Why is that? Because that's
It's
a human
not
being.
equality. It never will be.
Because it's not a cat.
If you go over there and crap in a litter box, I don't care if you're freaking 5 or if you're 50, you go over there as a little furry and crap in a litter box and I come over there and kick you, I'm going to go to prison or jail for assault. However, if I do that to my dog or cat, just animal cruelty.
At most. And even then,
You
context
can't
here.
have equality. It never will. And you can't have your cake and eat it too. So there's difference in these things. Okay, well, you can have, whatever. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I don't care who you are. I don't care what surgery you have. I don't care how much money you put into it. If you are a guy and you are screwing another guy, you ain't having a kid.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Vice versa. Women and women, you ain't equal to me.
Biologically.
It's not going to happen. So don't tell me this equality crap because you are not equal. It's not the same situation. I'm not saying you're inferior.
Less of a person.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
But
it's this equal crap. You don't have equality. It's not going to happen. It's not designed that way.
well, and the reality of it is, you don't want equality.
And I'm sick of that stuff with freaking black people too, and white people and every other race. We need to be treated equal. No, you're black. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm white. It's fine. Be black.
Yeah, and
be
love each
white.
other.
Be Hispanic.
Yeah.
Be Japanese, Chinese, whatever the heck you are. Be fine with that. Quit making everybody freaking try to comply with your freaking race and what you believe.
Well, and how about this? Quit making yourself a victim. I know people hate that because they're like, you don't understand. I've been pulled over by the cops unfairly. I've been put in jail on false charges.
Yeah, but you
blah,
did
blah.
too just a couple weeks ago. You got pulled, and I'm telling you right now, those cops were crap for what they did. You got pulled over, and they smelled alcohol. Let me just get the story straight, and I'll come back and critique it. These supposedly smelled alcohol, so you get out and do all their stupid little monkey tricks, walk the line, pin, all that crap. You pass
all
that,
of it.
and then they're like, oh, we need to do a breathalyzer. Okay, that's and you're white. Clearly, you're white.
Yeah.
You're not a chameleon. You're not changing colors here. You're still white. He was on the first episode. He still is. So here's what happened is what you should have done, could have done, and this is just for everybody, not just you, is you did their stupid little tricks. They have no probable cause after that.
Right, yeah.
They don't.
Especially whenever
Now, if you deny it, they're going to try to arrest you and take you down and make you do blood work. I'm the type of guy to be like, screw you, dude. Because here's the thing, people need to understand this. When I smell alcohol, that's the stupid cops' freaking way to just make probable cause. Yep. That's no different than them getting up there in a freaking car and say, oh, I smell marijuana. Probable cause. Freaking prove it.
Yeah.
Okay, now a little bit further. You did their stupid field sobriety test and passed that. They have nothing after that.
It was a 0.0.
But see, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm going to do, and I know I have to use you as an example, is this is how stupid people are. They don't understand that, so they'll go through the game. Let them, go through the breathalyzer.
I'll go through the motions.
Exactly. Yep. And give them what they want so they can catch you on just a little infraction. But here's what you're doing whenever you do that. Whenever you do that, you're opening up the door with probable cause and other things for them to go past.
Yeah, and
when they say probable cause, when they smell alcohol, they're looking for something else besides that. I'm telling you what they were doing because I know you smoke marijuana. Oh, yeah. They're looking for other things. Whenever you say probable cause, and now they can say, oh, we can search this dude's car. Yep. We can do this. We can do that. You're opening up the door to get taken advantage of.
Yep. And believe me, thankfully, at the end of it, after the breathalyzer, when it's like, dude, there's literally zero evidence of me in any way being intoxicated here, they were cool about it. They're like, hey, man, thanks for doing this with us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now that
I would have said that too if you blew me.
True that. Yeah, I'd be like, man, sorry I had to do that.
The cops were standing in line. Man. Yeah. What do you think they're going to say?
3 of them.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. But the ultimate thing here is it's tough, because on one hand, you want to be a good citizen. You want to just do your part and not be a troublemaker or an asshole. So as a result, you get pulled over and you just comply. Hey, I'll do the test, et cetera, et cetera. But then you go into something like the LGBTQ thing, and it's like, I don't have a problem with gay people, or if you identify as a cat, I'll call you a cat. The problem with that is that, okay, you know the difference, but your child doesn't. Yeah. Your neighbor may not fully understand what's going on here and doesn't have the capacity.
Well, see, people got to understand, but see, here's the thing. Here's again, I'll go back to this. This is why you don't want equality, people. You don't want to be treated equal because I'll treat you equal. Oh, I identify as a cat. No, you're a pussy. But is that what they're called? Oh, I identify as a dog. Okay, you're a bitch. Is that not a dog?
Yeah.
Now, if we use those terms, especially in school or on little children, how do you think you're going to be viewed?
Yeah. Like I'm
telling you, people, it's never going to happen, and you don't want it to happen.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we could go on and on with this, and it kind of took a turn. The reality of it is just critically think for yourself and understand that something's coming. I don't know what, I don't know exactly how, but something's coming this year before November 2024.
Oh, sure. I agree.
Because
the government needs that to leverage something for the election.
You literally have a man in the president that a report has come out and blatantly stated he does not remember what's going on.
Is he a man or a robot?
He's a man. Just a very old.
I know. But have you seen like Mission Impossible, the masks and the fakes?
Oh, yeah.
You look at several footages. Yeah. It's there.
Biden is, but none of the world leaders are the same. Now, the point of it is, okay, so you have this literally a walking zombie that you're running for president in 2024 that can't do the job, and let alone maybe not even make it to the end of that presidency. So what am I getting at here? They have another plan. And maybe to roll out Michelle Obama or maybe Gavin Newsom, but I promise you, Joe Biden isn't the plan. Like, we're going to run him and he's going to, take back America. No, that's not going to happen. They have something else in the works, whether it's the illegals, whether it's all the foreign aid that they're sending out, martial law, whatever, something's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. It's coming down the pipeline. It's just, we'll see who it is. I don't know.
Won't be me.
They're trying to shut down Trump. So I think
hiding.
that was a candidate. I don't really know what they have for Democrat. I don't even know who's going on the Republican Party that's worth a hoot right now. I haven't really followed
It's
it
Trump.
to see who.
It's Trump and Vivek. He was a really good one, but he dropped out to support Trump.
Who?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Okay, so who's right now? Because I haven't followed it. And just
right now, it's Trump or Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is the Rhino, Republican in name only. Should actually be running on the Democrats ticket. Yeah, female.
And you call her a Rhino?
A Rhino, Republican in name only. Anywho, she really should be running on the Democrat ticket, but right now the race is between Trump and Nikki Haley for the Republican nomination. Now everyone and their dog knows Trump's gonna win this thing for as far as the Republican nomination. Now, when we get to that general election, who knows? Depends on how.
It's hard to say because
how early they shut down the machines.
I do believe that there's Democrats out there that's like, this guy is incompetent. He shouldn't be president.
They're tweeting about it now. Yeah. Like they can't even hide it. And like they're saying like, yo, I love the president. I voted for him, but this ain't good.
Yeah.
So where does that go? I don't know. Michelle Obama. That's what. 4 to 8 more years of the Obamas. But anywho, thank you all so much for listening to this rant. Inform yourself. Make sure that you're staying up to date on what's going on in the world, because there's a lot. But if not, then just keep watching us, because I'm here to tell you. Either way, thank you for listening. Have a great night.
And next time, I'll make sure you don't shut